My name is Heather Tracy. I'm a senior PR major, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a common misconception that Christians probably should not and cannot work in the entertainment industry, and for me specifically in entertainment PR. So we are very blessed. Why is that not working? There we go. Okay. We are very blessed to live in a nation where Christianity is the most widely spread religion. A lot of people know about it, know a lot of its history. A lot of people know where we get our moral compass. A lot of people know a lot about the Bible. However, a lot of people still have problems understanding why a Christian who gets a lot of their moral compass and ethical foundations from the biblical text, how they could possibly work in an industry such as the entertainment industry, where a lot of those biblical foundations are actually generally completely negated and aren't really shown through. So there are a lot of examples of this misunderstanding, but one personal one that I actually had a few months ago really still sticks with me. So a few months ago, I was at Starbucks doing homework, and I was working on a Bible project. And so I had my Bible out, reading through the book of Acts, and a woman walked in. She sat next to me, and after a few moments, she asked me what book of the Bible I was reading and why I was reading it. And so I told her, oh, I go to Biola, and so I'm working on a Bible project. And she didn't know what Biola was, so I told her it was a Christian university. And she actually asked me if I was studying to become a nun, because apparently that's the only thing that you can learn at a Christian school. So I was able to kind of tell her, no, that's not what I'm doing. And I told her I was studying PR, which she didn't really understand what that was or how that fit in with going to a Christian school. So I was able to talk to her a little bit about that. But then she asked me what I wanted to do with my PR degree. And I told her, well, I'm currently interning in the entertainment industry, and I'm hoping to take that into my career after graduation to then continue working into the entertainment industry. And that pretty much just floored her. She did not understand how I, as a Christian, wanted to go into the entertainment industry and how that would work out. And so we ended up having a pretty long conversation actually about it. And she kind of understood, I think, hopefully. But I remember at the end of the conversation, she said, well, good luck with this, but just know that probably you're either not going to work there anymore or you're not going to be a Christian anymore. It's probably not going to work out for you to have both. And this was just such a good example of why it's so important to let people know that Christians can work in the entertainment industry, and to acknowledge that there is this disconnect, that people don't really understand it. And so people even at Biola, where we are supposed to be trained to think biblically about everything, which in my opinion should include your career, where you want to go after Biola, the workforce that you want to be in, people still are having some disconnect of how we, coming from Biola, having this strong faith, can be in such a secular industry. And I've had many, many, many personal experiences with this, but one that still encourages me today to pursue my career in the entertainment industry is actually my sophomore year, when I decided, okay, I'm going to get an internship. I needed to do something other than just school. And I wasn't sure how or where to even start with that. And after a series of events in a very, very short week, I ended up getting offered an internship at the Late Late Show with James Corden. Now, I had no desire to work in entertainment. That was not even on my radar, and somehow here I was, and I remember looking through the email, the offer email, that it said something along the lines of, we'd really like to hire you, blah, 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 and that just, it baffled me, and I was like, I don't know, do I want to do this? Do I not? What should I do? And I remember reaching out to some friends, my roommate, some other people on campus, and asking them, what should I do? And pretty much collectively, they were all very, very excited for me that I had been offered an internship, and super quickly. But they were all very skeptical about where it was. And I remember them saying things like, that's a very secular show, or, there's not going to be people leading you to Christ there, or people probably won't like you very much. They're going to make fun of you because you're a Christian. They're not going to accept you. And this was very discouraging to me. I remember thinking, okay, well, you're probably right. I probably shouldn't do it. For some reason, though, I found myself just over and over throughout the next few days reading through that email again and thinking, I think I do want to do this. So finally, after a lot of prayer and thought, I ended up thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. But I wanted to take into consideration these concerns that these people had, and I wanted to make sure that people knew that I was a Christian going into this industry. And so a lot of people, like I said, had said, people aren't going to accept you. They're not going to want to be your friend because you don't live the same kind of lifestyle that they do. And so when I responded to this offer email, I said something along the lines of, thank you so much for this opportunity. I would love to intern for you. And at the end, I signed, in Christ, Heather Tracy. And I have no idea if my supervisor ever saw that, noticed it. She never acknowledged it to me. But to me, it was my way of saying, I'm here, I'm going to do a good job, and you're still going to like me, you're still going to accept me, regardless of my faith. So then fast forward about a year and a half later, and I was now interning at NBC Entertainment in their publicity department, which was an incredible experience. I learned so much about the industry, about public relations, about what I wanted in a career, what I didn't want in a career. And I met so many incredible people who guided me through this experience, but I also met some really cool people, some actors, some actresses, directors, producers, pretty much anyone you might think of in that scene. And perhaps one of the most notable people was Jimmy Fallon. And for those of you who may not know who he is, he's the host of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon on NBC. He's a comedian. He's pretty popular. And so he hosted the 2017 Golden Globe Awards. So when I was interning there, I was very, very heavily involved in the planning and executing of the Golden Globes because the publicity department works very, very hand in hand with the events department. So for months I worked on it, but for about a week before the actual event, I worked hand in hand with Jim Fallon every day, just preparing him and our team for anything that we might need to be prepared for the Golden Globes. So through this, we got to know each other, we kind of became friends. And one time, he knew I was an intern, so he asked me where I went to school, and I told him, oh, I go to Biola University, and of course he didn't know what that was. And so I told him, oh, it's a Christian university near Disneyland, the usual spiel. So he asked me if I was a Christian, and we kind of just got talking about how I got to Biola and how that led me to being in the entertainment industry. And he was very receptive of my faith and very kind and encouraged me in it. However, he did not understand, one, why I would want to work in the entertainment industry. He was like, I don't understand because we do not reflect your faith. And two, how I was doing that. And I remember him saying, I don't understand because people aren't going to respect you like they're going to respect someone else. And that just blew me away. And it pushed me to realize that as Christians, we actually need to prove ourselves even more so in our work. And it drove me to want to work harder in my internship and work harder to prove myself as a public relations professional and future professional in order to then establish credibility and to be able to share my faith with people and for them to still respect me in the industry, even though they didn't necessarily respect or understand my faith. So this conversation really actually led me to, it's kind of my motto now, that I want to work in the entertainment industry, not in spite of or regardless of my faith, but because of my faith. And I'm not the only person that's ever thought these things. There are people in the entertainment industry, and there have been people in the past who have worked really, really hard to make a name for themselves, but also have shown Christ in their work. And some notable people that you might know of include Chris Pratt, Kathy Lee Gifford, and Faith Hill. These are just 3 examples of many people who are in the entertainment industry and making a name for themselves based off of their skill, their talent, their work ethic, whether it be acting or talk show hosting or singing. All 3 of them have proven themselves in the industry, but they have also proven that they can also represent Christ in such an industry, and they're not afraid to proclaim Christ to the world from the platform that they have. And there's also people behind the scenes that you may have never heard of, but these people are making the entertainment industry what it is. People like Devin Franklin right here. He was the director of The Pursuit of Happiness, which was a huge box office hit. People loved that movie. But he's a very, very strong Christian, and he has an entire website dedicated to teaching people how you can be a Christian in the entertainment industry and learning to walk along your career and walk along your faith at the same time. And then people like Ralph Winter, who you can see, he looks like he's in the winter time. And he produced movies like The Planet of the Apes and the Fantastic Four series and X-Men, all very, very big, profitable movies. but he was able to show Christ through the way that he worked, the way that he treated people, the way that he dedicated himself to his work in order to present the best work that he possibly could. And then people like the Kendrick brothers, who you see over here, who are very known for their Christian films like Courageous and Fireproof and Facing the Giants. And while they are in a Christian sector of the entertainment industry, they are still known for making well-known movies and for making movies that people still respect because of the actual job that they did on the movie, but they were still able to represent Christ through this. So it's very clear that people can and should and will continue to work in the entertainment industry and still have faith. And it seems obvious how this relates to my Bible minor here at Biola, but to me it actually relates more closely to my public relations major. So public relations at its core essence is a relationship building tool. And I know Allison covered this, but throughout our 4 years here, I know I have been drilled with the definition of PR, and it states that public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between an organization and its public. And it's so clear that the essence is relationships. And isn't the kingdom of God just a series of relationships? Isn't it building relationships to be a light for Christ in those relationships and in a secular world where we need to be that light? So why is it that a Christian shouldn't work in a relationship building career? And why is it that a Christian shouldn't do this in a secular world where there needs to be a light for Christ through those relationships? God made us human, and part of human flourishing is being a part of all of humankind and interacting with all humans. So why limit God's creation, and why limit our humanness that he gave us? Why not use our career to actually build up humankind and build up the creation that he made us to be, and do that in our workplace? So after graduation, in just a few short weeks, I am planning on moving to Nashville, Tennessee. And this is very nerve-wracking for me, but also super exciting. And I'm hoping to take my experience in the television industry here and somehow move that over to the music industry there. I don't know anything about the music industry, and so it is nerve-wracking, and I am a little bit anxious to see where this takes me. I don't know where it will take me, and I don't know what the future necessarily holds for me in my career. But I do know one thing. I know that I want to prove that lady at Starbucks wrong, and I want to prove Jimmy Fallon wrong, and I want to prove the people at Biola wrong, and I want to show them that Christians can and should be involved in the entertainment industry, and specifically in entertainment PR. So that's my presentation.